So we're going to look at a works cited list and make sure that we're properly formatting ours in paper number 1. So the first thing you're going to notice is that works cited is in a regular font, not bold, not big, not underlined. Then you're going to notice that the citations are all in double space with no extra lines inserted between them. They're also formatted as what we would call hanging indents, where you use the ruler to set the second line in a half-inch indent. If you have any trouble with that, it's no big deal, but just do your best to try to do that. So this is exactly what it should look like. There are two different kinds of citations that you should have in your works cited. The first are for your primary artifacts, the artifacts from the historical period you're studying. So that would be things like a painting of George Washington, a scene from the Disney Pocahontas movie or Avatar, a passage from The Contrast or Indian Princess or Ben Franklin, any of the texts that we've been using. Those are your artifacts, and when you cite them in your paper, you need to have a citation for those artifacts. So in Rachel's paper, she talks about the feminine mystique from 1963. She talks about a painting from 1972. She talks about a song from 1972, and she talks about a magazine article from 1949. And for all four of those artifacts, she has correct MLA citations. In addition to her artifact citations, Rachel has citations for secondary sources that she's used to find and validate and verify and develop her cultural contexts. So here we have a book that is a chronology of women's history that she used. Here we have another book, a chronology of women's history that she used. Down here we have a website from the Rutgers Center for American Women in Politics, a pretty credible website because it comes from a major American scholarly university. We also have an article from a Miracosta database that comes from Daily Life Through History. And finally, another website related to the Rutgers Center for American Women in Politics. So we see in this works cited list about 8 sources which involve both primary artifacts and resources used to validate, verify, and identify cultural context. So that's where we're looking, and that's exactly what yours should look like, and it's about what the kind of sources you should have in it. Let's take a quick second and remind ourselves where we can go for all this formatting information. You're not supposed to have memorized this. You can go to the Miracosta Library, and we have an MLA page there, and I've provided you a link for it. And there you can find a handout that gives you the exact format for 99% of the kind of resources you're going to be using. There's also sample papers you can use there. And then over here, you have a series of lists where you can explore different types of MLA citations. So the different types and the basic format of and all the rules are explained there in a really clear, helpful way. So this page is an essential resource for you to use while you're doing this paper. No one memorizes these rules. They go into places like this and use this guidance to formulate their citations. Hope this has been helpful. See you in Blackboard.